Aloha, everyone. Welcome to the Aloha Friday with the Sandwich Island Social Network. And we're so delighted to have some wonderful, wonderful music on tap. You've been listening to the Kiho Alu music of Mr. Patrick Landeza, a dear friend of mine, who's joining us today on the Aloha Friday Sandwich Island Social Network featuring Patrick Landeza. And for all of our friends that are out there, welcome, welcome. This is an interactive, chat driven show. So we love it when you comment. Some folks have already wanted to jump in right now, and we love it, love it. Right now, please join me in welcoming just a dear friend of mine who is here. And please welcome to the Aloha Friday show, Mr. Patrick Landeza. What's up, Patrick?
Aloha, everybody. Aloha. Kamaka, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Patrick, wait, we gotta officially we get the many hoonies that always welcome our guests. Hang on, there we go. That's from the Mocha, and then we get many hoonies from the Makai side, bro. Hang on.
Oh my God.
So you've been officially welcomed to the Aloha Friday show with, and folks have already jumped in, Patrick, and everybody's happy to be here. Hang on now, all of our friends are jumping in right now. Aloha Friday, Auntie Hetty, aloha, Auntie Hetty. Happy Aloha Friday. I like your papali and the hulu kamaka mahalo. There's a story behind that. I'll share that later of my new. Hulu for my papali. Thank you, Auntie Hetty. Good to have you with us. And Eric Yamaguchi, brother Eric, who is healing up very nicely from his surgery. He is there in bed, but he's watching us. Eric is saying, welcome, welcome. Good to have you. Cindy Cross from San Miguel, California. Hey, come on. Next time you come enough through San Miguel, bring some poi. Aye, Patrick, I was on my way down from your place, heading down the coast, and I had to stop in San Miguel for a little lua stop. And Cindy was going, "Where the poi?" And I went, "Oh my goodness, the poi was gone." Welcome, Cindy. Cindy is part of Andy Bumatai's Hamajang gang, and she joins us with Aloha from Andy's crew, and she's saying, "Aloha Friday, everybody." Boy, the comments are coming in fast and furious. I love it, love it, love it. Eric says, "I'm bringing you some goodies tomorrow there." He can bring some goodies. He said, bring goodies. All right. So you'll see, maybe you might see Eric tomorrow there, Patrick. We'll talk about
I
that.
hope so. I hope so.
Let's see. Who else is jumping in really, really fast? Okay, we got a couple more, but you know what? Oh, there is Kuipo. There's Kuipo saying everything is beautiful. Ah. Patrick Landeza has been a friend of mine for a number of years, and we had the wonderful opportunity to hear his music. And for me, the first time in LA, I believe back in 2012, 2013, if I'm not mistaken, there, Patrick. And you came through the coffee gallery in Altadena, California, and brought the slack key. And my partner Dan Lagroni and I sat there because we had no idea who you were and who the guy he said. But you came through. We enjoyed your music, and we have been connecting with each other since then. What a journey! What a journey your music has taken you on, Patrick.
Absolutely.
Would you have ever expected your Kiho Alu, stylings, starting back from, I would say, almost Hanabata days, and now all the way to performing across the country? I mean, how does that register in your heart and your mind, Patrick?
I'm just so blessed I have a day job.
Oh,
I mean that it's so. But the thing is, Kamaka, when you look at it, and I just absolutely love my school. And you're thinking, okay, so how does this relate to the question? And it's only because the uncles, the last things that they told me was to be sure that you have a day job, and that was the uncles, and they had said to be sure that you continue to do it what you do, but it's to find the balance. No, I had no idea that all these wonderful things would happen. Is it something that I'm passionate about? Absolutely. uh, or were there times where, because of issues, or being born and raised mainland and having these obstacles in my way, did I want to quit? Absolutely. Did I quit? No. But so I could never have imagined where we are today, and I feel like I'm the bridge, and for all of us, and not only for music but also for all things Hawaiian, for food, and especially for that aloha, to be shared, right? Because that's what we do. So yeah.
Absolutely. And for our friends that may be tuning in, we kind of jumped in the middle over here with some assumptions, perhaps. But a beautiful thing about Patrick's story is he always likes to say he was born on the island of Berkeley. And uh, talk to us about that, where you share. I was born on the island of Berkeley. What is what's the thought behind that?
My mother is from Ho'olehua, Molokai, and my father came from Kahuku. So, Kamaka, when you think of it, right, the two country people, I mean country, okay? My mother would always say that her friends were the animals. And unfortunately, because we lived on a farm, they weren't friends for long, but that's all she had. And my father, though, he was very outgoing. He lived in plantation camp in Kahuku. So, trust me, and if you've been to Berkeley and you're aware of Berkeley, Berkeley truly is an island. And I really felt as if it incorporated everything I needed to allow me to move forward and to allow me to be where I'm at today. Because culturally diverse, we're also social economically diverse as well too. There's an edge to Berkeley. There's that whole activism, and then also I would say the plethora of music that surrounds Berkeley. So is that not who I am when you think about it? And all of these wonderful qualities that Berkeley has, I was fortunate enough to adopt those and to share in all things in what I do today. So definitely from the island of Berkeley, and people say, and when I was younger, they'd write me off. He's only from the mainland, whatever. But as my mother and my grandmother would say, I would say, I don't understand. You tell me all these stories about my ancestors, but I'm not Hawaiian. But then they go, no, that's other people saying. But those that know. And those that need not know, need not know. So it was really interesting, how the public's perception is you're very mainland, but those that knew totally understand. Like Dennis Kamakahi, he absolutely understood, and so he took me under his wing, and he malama me, and I didn't quite understand. It's like, look, Uncle, my Hawaiian names are my ancestors, but yet these people treat me different. And he was like, never mind, never mind. You just keep moving forward. Remain ha'aha'a, remain humble. And all these years I've tried, but when you're in the business of producing, right? Right, Kamaka? When you're in the business of selling yourself or selling the form or selling the music, there's that fine line between marketing and being humble, and so you devise ways or plans, or like in my instance, I devised pen names, and so don't nobody know more about me than me, but I don't want to talk about myself. So I devised pen names, and I was my own publicist. And now today, I have like teams of publicists with Poi Planet, with Tori Ho PE, that help me, whether it's online, whether it's in print or media. That way I can work. That way I can do what I do here at school, and nothing's affected at all. I mean, 100%, I totally believe in that. So, these types of things come up, yeah. When people see me, I'm a happy-go-lucky guy. I'm very aloha. But the flip side, I mean, I have a face on a wine bottle. That doesn't, right. You don't do that through complacency,
Right.
but it's marketing. And because of COVID, we have to figure out other ways to be relevant, to stay relevant. Because as a musician, There's only so many times I can go and ask for tips. That's not me. That's never been me. Because again, so what do? You work on other projects. How can you? How in what ways can you affect community? Make it work for you, and make it work for everybody else. So that's like, Uncle Dennis, you use the term polole. And I go, Uncle, what does that mean? Is it like being polo? It's like, well, no, it's like the house wins, okay, where it's the promoters, the musicians win, and the audience wins. It's when everybody wins. It's never a one side. So this whole thing, we all win, but so far, it's beyond winning at this time and place and day for me. A lot happened within these past 4 days. I mean, it's beyond winning. It's just a blessing, 100% blessing. I just, I'm freaking out inside just thinking about all the wonderful things that happened. These 4 days come up, 4 days, this is the most amazing thing.
Yeah. So we started talking about your mom, his mom,
Yeah.
right? And she is a strong influence in your life. You reference much of what is written about you to your mom and dad, and your mom's still with us. In fact, she provided you with a lot of guidance and a lot of wisdom that you carry through the years, no doubt. Yeah. Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And yeah, with Mother's Day coming up, and working on these, I have these vlogs that I'm releasing, and one is my mom, and my mom's story is Kamaka is extremely fascinating. I mean, because she's from Molokai, she doesn't talk about it because it is not her nature. But I mean, it's enough stuff where you can write a book, and it's the most amazing thing. But when I was younger, she would always allow me to listen to Hawaiian music, and whether it was her singing or being surrounded by her LPs and her records, or the uncles and aunties performing. Because back then there was no kanikapila like how we see it now. It's either at family parties. That all that stuff did not exist. It did not exist. But back in the early 2000s, when traveling with Cyril Pahinui, Dennis Kamukai, we thought, okay, how can we replicate this? How can we replicate this and make it marketable so that when we do return back to these towns, we still have a fan base or a base? So creating these kanikapila all throughout, the places that we tour. And that all just came from my mom and my dad, and at the paina that used to happen. But it was my mother, that was extremely, and not only just musically, okay, but very spiritually. My mother is a very devoted Catholic, and even when we recorded her, my first album in the '90s, they were wondering, there's a noise. What's that noise? When she was singing, and there's a little breaks. And it was my mother praying, and you can hear her because the micro, so she'll sing, and then there's a break, and then she'll sing, and she's praying. And it is the most amazing, and it is totally my mother saying, God bless this child. And she's praying, she's continuing to pray. So not only, through the music, but spiritually. And that is important part of my life is my faith. And then also my family, my mother, my dad, and also ties into who I am as a Kanaka Maoli. You have to always have that. You have to have that anchor, yeah.
Mm.
And so my mother's the anchor. I go on stage, it's game over. I mean, that's like. But when I'm off stage, I like just be me. I just like happy go lucky, let's crack this out. But when you think of it, that's what the uncles and my mother had instilled in me.
You mention Uncle Dennis quite often over here in our conversations. He also provided you with so much of his mana'o sharing through the years that has lasted, even though he's no longer with us, he is still with us and
Right.
with you constantly.
People think that again, because I'm from the mainland, I've been discredited in many ways, or they say we've never heard of him, so he doesn't exist because he's not on the Dancing Cat label. And to them, I say, like the faces of Hawaiians, is that um, you know, never judge a book by its cover. And I had to learn that the hard way because Uncle Dennis and my mother was. I think that Molokai connection, and the two of them were close as well too. Um, and because of that, Uncle Dennis took me, and there are things that I just couldn't understand being from the mainland. Come on, honestly, yeah, I can't understand things. Like I had no concept of Aumakua. I wanted to know if Aumakua exists, why don't we see them? Why don't they exist today? And or even with the fascination of night marchers and protocol of things that happen on Molokai. And my mother would share with me these stories and what to do as a fourth through sixth grader. I mean, honestly, what am I going to do in Berkeley when the night marchers come, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do about. Or what limu goes with what fish. I'm not going to eat anything raw out of the Berkeley Marina. But because it was our, the manao and our whole, it is rich with oral traditions. She needed to continue within that cycle. Same with Uncle Dennis. He would say, Aumakua don't exist, or they do to some, but he would say it's because times are different now. It's when they used to, people used to worship and give tribute to Aumakua, right? And so, because my grandmother would tell me all these amazing stories of our family and our Aumakua, and I was like, what? The shark would take them where, and I go, how much of this is real and how much of this is legend, right? But it is all real.
Yeah.
It's just different times, and you can't understand that unless you have somebody explaining it to you.
Right.
And it was because of Uncle Dennis. I only wish, Tamaka, that I knew you when Uncle Dennis was living, because we would have such a great time.
Yeah.
Uh, and that's only Uncle Dennis was the most uh, humble person I know. He and Cyril, but never piss them off. Don't ever piss them off. Period. Never, ever, ever. Because yeah, I mean, I would take the brunt of it. I'd get scolded, and I'd have to fix a lot of things. So I was their roadie, I was their tour manager, then booking agent, and but they trained me. They're smart. They trained me, and they molded me. And there's Uncle Cyril taking direction, and he was always, I call him the chief. Uncle C was my second dad. No, hands down. I needed him. I needed Cyril at a time in my life when the kids were, I was having kids, um, and I look at it as if, like, okay, you go to these festivals and these Cyril Pahinui festivals, and you see all these people, see all these musicians and folks that Cyril had touched, and then I call it the pocket. There's a pocket where early 2000, and these guys weren't doing anything. It was post Dancing Cat. Uncle C just retired from the city and county, and he was looking to get out. And I'm like, Uncle, let me do this. Let me do all the paperwork, Uncle. Let's just do this, and that became. I mean, I'm talking. It became a wonderful relationship and a partnership with Uncle Cyril. Always encouraging, never scared to scold me. But I had learned so much from Uncle Cyril, and for years on the road with him and casinos.
Wow.
So
Um,
yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Here's Cindy's going. That just gave me chicken skin. The stories of with these these legends, these icons that you cross paths with, and them taking you along and nurturing you and mentoring you. and you carry all of that mana'o and you pay it forward is what I see you doing. Here's Lance, and Lance says, anyone that treats you different don't have aloha and Hawaiian in their hearts. I'd rather have a mainlander with aloha and the Hawaiian spirit in their hearts than a local without. Well said, Lance.
Well said, Lance.
Well
Well
said.
said. I
Yeah.
think Lance for me was more identity because my ohana was telling me one thing and the public was telling me another. And you have to realize I'm touring, guys. I'm touring and I'm organizing these packages with the uncles, Dennis Kamakahi, Cyril Pahinui, Herb Ota Jr., David Kamakahi, Keoki Kawamoku, and then Patrick Landeza. So where do you think that's gonna go? I mean, you understand where, it's just the mainland guy. That's don't let's go over here and he's and when you take that road less traveled and you pray for humility and never look for fame. That's the one thing. It's like, yeah, I was 19 when I was 19, man, I wanted it. I think that the uncles really shaped me and formed me where, you can do what you do, but also you need to take care of your family. You need to figure this out, uncle, or the old timers. I'd ask old timers when I would travel, what's the one thing you folks regret? And this is non-Hawaiian music, Hawaiian music. And the old timers say, I regret not being with my family. School grounds me as a teacher here. It grounds me. Yeah, Kamaka, I'm crazy. I'll fly to you tomorrow morning after the kitchen. We will hustle the poi. I will go to my hotel and sleep. I will get to Brada's Grill at 6 o'clock to 9. I will return back to the hotel at 10 o'clock. Get to the airport at 4:30 to get my 5:30 flight, straight back to the kitchen and to celebrate Mother's Day brunch. No, I mean, as my wife had said it, right? Do it now when you can,
I
and as long, like I had that opportunity to go to either go full-time music or, I mean, I've done it. I've been there. So, do it now while you're young, while you have that energy. And it's not like I'm running against the clock or anything, but there's just so much to do, Kamaka. You've grown ever since I've known you.
Yeah.
We all grow, but we're growing to support our communities. I continuing to travel, and because we can't play music, we hustle poi and kulolo. I mean, how Hawaiian, right? And
Yep.
so you still build community, you still build the fan base,
Yeah.
but you just change the media.
Yeah.
You just change the medium.
Talking
That's how.
talking about growing over here. Since I met you, you've also grown with your family here, guys. Beautiful family. You've got talking about a supportive team over here. And I know they're all being nurtured along with the ohana style with your mom, the blessing that your mom is still with you, and a supportive wife. Jen is so awesome, and the young men are growing up too. I see them working right alongside with you too, Patrick. So you're passing along that work ethic there. I see it.
And the uncles, it was always through example, right? And especially with slack key, there was never paper. It was always like na na ho'olohe and ho'opili, right? Na na, watch, listen, and then you imitate. My mother would leave these 3 words in my guitar case, in the pocket or anywhere, and it was a reminder of what needs to be done. And my mom is pretty. I mean, honestly, again, I think I take after my mom because she's extremely humble. I'm not saying that I'm extremely humble, but she's very quiet in a way where she's extremely powerful in another. You know, she's quiet but extremely powerful, and that's the attitude. You know, when I need and when I can, then we go. Period. You know, my father, on the other hand, was the opposite. But I think that the most important was again referring back to my mother, and the children learn by watching. I don't like force them, Kamaka. They all play instruments, but they play piano. Fine, fine. You know, I bought the piano by selling earrings. Whatever, I get them. Pianos are not cheap, but you know.
Here's our good friend Nancy. She says, the last time I talked to Cyril, we were talking about 2 hours and about what a blessing mentoring was and how important it was sharing the aloha. He was so grateful for being mentored and for being able to mentor others. And that's how he spent so
So
much of his time. Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
that was towards the latter part of his life. That was towards maybe the 3 to 4 years prior before his death. Um, Uncle, I was mentored by Uncle, but Uncle did not like to teach. I'm just gonna put it out there, Uncle. We would do workshops, yeah. And the best example was Santa Barbara. We do a concert, and I keep saying these. It's like, look, we got to do concert, we got to do workshop, because you guys got this gambling habit, and you eat plenty. So we got to figure out where, right? We got to get this. We got to, because I cannot. I was the only one with the day job, and I cannot keep supporting these tours, right? If they don't work. So then we would do workshops, and then I go, Uncle, where's your materials? And Uncle Sir goes, hey, no need. Here, just make one copy of this. And I go, all it is a chord chart. He goes, no worry. Watch, Uncle. So what they would do, Uncle Cyril would just play and talk story. And then at the end, he give him the chord chart. And then he goes, everybody like paper. No worry. And so I'm like, oh my God, Uncle. I'm so screwed. They would pay like 60, $80, right? And of course, Uncle is so charming, right? He's so charming. And so it's working out so well. And I'm like, I am an educator. I deal with curriculum. And I'm like, I am so screwed, you know? But as a teacher, I mean, it's a second nature to me. I can crack them all out, and they can learn. Bam! I have all of my stages. I got I got everything. I have my follow ups, and Uncle, you boy, here's give him the paper.
Give him the paper.
Wow. Uncle take picture afterwards, and I'm like, yes, Uncle C. I was like, yeah, you got
Just
to
nah,
see.
nah. Just watch. Just watch. That's how they learn. They just
And
watch.
then off to casino. So,
Uh,
everybody happy. God, he loved casino, bro.
uh,
These guys are just great.
Cindy says, Patrick, I was born and raised in Hawaii. My father was a Maui boy, and there are two more generations after me, but I am Haole by blood. We are all part of the Hawaiian soul, brothers and sisters. And Lono said it if I see you to say hi for him. Sorry I missed your show last weekend because I invited Cindy to come along for the wine release. I will tell you in person next time. So she just sharing a little message there.
Oh, great. Thank you, Cindy. Absolutely. And we've found that there is so many people with Aloha all throughout the country. And I think that by sharing, we also educate, others, because to me, it's so important. I mean, we just gotta do it. My mother was like 100% just aloha, just I mean, to a point where, and even my dad too, but to a point where there were sometimes we didn't even eat, because he spent so much time spending his aloha, catering or cooking, and just being paid by beer, or it's like, no worry, no worry. That's actually Hawaiian, it's like, no worry, no worry, no worry. But
Yeah.
when mom and dad has 5 kids, we live in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, 7 of us, and we're struggling. No worry, no worry, no worry doesn't equate to, how we gonna pay rent, how we gonna pay, tuition. They put us all through Catholic school. We all worked. And so I think that the amazement of my own cousins and family is that I mean, I'm legal. We all cook in the family, um, but I'm actually a legal caterer with a legitimate business that really isn't my main business, which doesn't make any sense. But and so it was in the kitchen last night. I was so happy. I was just so happy, crazy, just to be in the kitchen. I'm like, I love this, and I'm like, this is an expensive hobby.
So here's a point here, where we're looking at uh, your performing. Here is Carnegie Hall, right?
Right,
From the kitchen to Carnegie Hall, from a family in Molokai, mentored by Dennis Kamakahi, Cyril Pahinui, and now you've traveled across the country, bringing the aloha, bringing the kiho alu, bringing all of that to places like this, and exposing more and more people to the culture, to the music. I mean, what a blessing and what a journey that is for you. When you think back.
a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just a lot of fun. I mean, especially Carnegie Hall was. They were one of. I had Brian Tolentino and Kale Hannes with me at Carnegie, and just being there was just huge. And I remember being interviewed, and they go, "Well, how does it feel to be here at Carnegie Hall?" And I was being honest. I'm like, "Well, I thought I'd make it to the Grand Ole Opry first, but Carnegie will do."
Carnegie.
They were really up. They were pretty upset at me. But like I said, I love bluegrass. I mean, I love country music. I'm like, so that is the only venue that's on my bucket list that I have not played. I'll take the Ryman for Christ's sakes. I mean, I'm good. I'll take any of the two. I will take the Ryman or the new, Grand Ole Opry. But you have to set these short term and long term goals. And you know, again, Kamaka people that know they understand, like like you, that we just do more than just music. I do more than just music. We're game changers. We need to make these things happen. Never be complacent. Uncle Dennis and Uncle Cyril taught me one thing: was never be complacent. Continue. It's just like their sets. Uncle Cyril's set was the same, but Dennis always changed his look. Never be complacent. Dennis was a great marketing person. I mean, wonderful. And Cyril was a people person. So they made a good balance, great balance. Together, they were tremendous friends. I mean, tremendous friends. You know,
So, Patrick, your years of work in music, in the community, was recognized. And I have this picture over here that I thought's a great picture of you. Tell us about this moment. What was going on? Tell us about
ah,
yeah.
so that is the Kiho Alu award for my work with Slack Key. And I think that the moment I won that, because it's a surprise, right, was like, oh my God, they're giving me a free, they're giving me a free guitar. So the free guitar right there to my right hand. I was so stoked, and I get a free guitar. My teachers before me um, uh, won this award. Then I believe Cyril got it twice, and it's the contribution that's been made, and you're recognized by, of course, Milton Lau and his committee, and Milton Lau is the founder of the Slack Key Festival. So, hey, when I was growing up, I would have my uncle guys record the Slack Key Festival either on VHS or cassette tape, so I can listen to it. So and with Chris Lau, and I travel. I mean, with Milton Lau. I mean, now I travel with his son Chris, and we're very close. You can't make this stuff up. You just, it's just impossible. But you win it, and the next day you return back home, and you're a dad. Paul. Period. Period. Nothing changes. You still have to answer to your wife, but then you think, and there goes Chris Lau and my good friend Ryan Iwasan. Without him, there's absolutely no way I'd be able to be doing what I do. Keeps me balanced. He cracks the whip when things go bad, but also encourages me when things are good. And he's kind of like the new Cyril and Dennis put together,
Wow.
where yeah, what where like, how can you make this better and these types of things? Because sometimes my brain can just be going 100 miles an hour as an artist, and then trying to keep everything together as a business person. I need someone to, and my wife cannot do that. My wife is my wife. She helps, but she is not. She's not one of those wives that will take over the. She has her own job. She does what she does, and every time I'm missing, she always would. People would ask, "Did you miss Patrick?" It's like, no, I always have my buddies,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
Auntie Hetty
And that's
says,
her little buddy.
Uncle and I had so much fun when Patrick was came down for the Ohana Sunday, and they had the guys make poke. Um, we had such a we had such
That
a
was
great
so
time.
fun.
Ohana Club Sunday was a Sunday event we would have here in Southern California. We kind of wanted to take kind of like the old Hawaii calls and the Perry and Price show, in which we had a roving microphone, we had entertainment, we had music, we had food, and Patrick was kind enough to come on down, and we had a poke making contest, and
Yeah.
it was good fun. And you made a big old bowl of poke, and everybody tasted it. Was and you had your secret ingredient, which you had put in a heifer, and everybody went,
That
"What?" And
was
you go,
hilarious.
"Yes,
He was
just
like,
a little
"What?
bit. A little
What are
bit
you
goes a long
doing?"
way." You want to share what that secret ingredient was?
Ah, I forgot. I forgot. It might have been like it might have been aloha or
I
love
think
or
so. I
peace.
think
Yeah,
so.
I absolutely forgot. But hey, Auntie, that was so much fun. It was hilarious. I had a great time, and that restaurant was just so much fun.
That's right.
It was crowded, it was tight, but it was, what, that's what it was all about. Oh, had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Just the poke and too much fun, too
Kahiao
much
says,
fun.
"Aloha, Patrick. Can't wait to see you." And then she's got a
Uh,
question for you. Let's see. I see the question over here. Are you going to bring any shirts with you? I need extra fluffy. Can I get it on your website?
I don't want extra fluffy. All I get is Lendeza's Island shirts. I don't want Aloha Everywhere shirts, and
Oh,
yeah, and so all I'm bringing, I think, I mean, yeah, what I'm bringing definitely is the earrings, and my CDs and my books.
all right.
So I'm not quite sure.
Let's talk about uh, jewelry here, Mr. Landeza. So,
Boy, you was really busy on Facebook, bro.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, we are known as a Kiho Alu, and the recognition you've got from your peers and from your fans with your music. But then, but then comes Lendeza's jewelry over here now. Hello, talk to us about that.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I'm making jewelries for the ladies, and so my wife one time she had said, not that long ago, she goes, "Can I ask you a question?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Are you Mahu?" I'm like, "Excuse me?" She goes, "No, no, no. This is a serious question. Are you Mahu?" And I'm like, and there's nothing wrong with being Mahu, right? But I go, "Why are you asking? We have 5 kids." And she looked at me and she goes, "Because your jewelry is looking better and better." And I go, "That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about."
That's what I'm
So
talking about, he says. Now hang
that's what
on
I'm
here.
talking about.
I mean, look at
Yeah,
this here.
Ra.
Huh?
I
Come on
make
now.
jewelries. What can I say? Well, you know what happened, Kamaka, was I'm a teacher, so I was teaching 6th grade, and I was working out these crafts for the kids. I work at a Catholic school. I like teach them how to make rosaries, and so I went to the bead store, and I'm like, 25 cents a bead? You gotta be nuts. Then I look at all the stuff around, right? And I'm like, you guys are crazy. And then the lady heard me talking to myself, and then she goes, "Sir, if you think you can do a better job, then you try it." I was like,
Ooh.
I'm not gonna pay $100 for this earring. I was looking at it, right? And so then she gave me a quick lesson, and then I walked around, And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make this bracelet. I swear, I never in my life, never experienced anything. So okay. So for me, it was colors. So if you put colors and shapes together and make it asymmetrical, then I think you might get something. But that's just the teacher in me. So I lined it all up, and 10 minutes later, I gave it to her, and she goes, she looked at me, I look at her, she looked at the jewelry, she looked back at me, I look back at her, and then she goes, "Sir, this is actually pretty good." And they go, "I know, I'll take it." Oh, bro, I don't know if you've ever been to a jewelry store, but I came out with this little bag that cost $223 of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what am I gonna do with this $223 of stuff? So I told my wife I'll be back. I gotta go to Walmart, and then on Thursday nights they got beading nights at Glorious Beads in Castro Valley. So I'd sneak out and I'd spend time with the ladies, all old ladies, right? And they making jewelries, and that's how they talk about their husbands, right? They all talk about their husbands. Oh, my husband golfs so much, and oh, my husband, he is so lazy. And then they go like this. They go, "Patrick, how come our husbands can't be more like you?" And here I am, right? And I go, "Oh, it's okay." But then I go like this. Come on, I go, "Oh, by the way, how'd you make that?" And then they teach me,
Ah, wow.
and then
Um,
and
Kai,
then the
Kai,
rest is history.
Kai Al says, I'm going to rock my earrings tomorrow. So she bought,
That's right.
you
That's
were with
right.
us at our Meli,
The Christmas,
our
bruh.
Christmas in Gardena. What was it? Almost 2 years ago now, our Christmas show. And
So much fun.
you brought your not only your great music, but you also brought your jewelry. And Kai Ao says she's going to rock the earrings tomorrow. Watch out.
Rock,
Watch out.
rock the earrings,
The
definitely. Yeah. So that's
earrings.
how I make. That's the story of my. I selling more. I earrings bought the piano.
Uh,
Earrings bought the piano, and the piano wasn't cheap. But yeah, I'm
Cahiel says,
very
I
proud.
got four pair. I have four. She bought four pairs of earrings. And then
Good. They all okay. They never break.
Auntie Kay said, I'm not wearing any, so I can't. She says she's not going to wear any. Auntie Kay has some, but she's not going to wear any so she can buy some.
Good NC. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I don't know how. I'm gonna try and make some tonight. Just a
uh,
couple, just for brain. Just a simple kind. But it's
uh-huh.
you know what? It's all my designs. It's good fun. So you know.
Auntie Hetty says she bought some of your jam at Melikaliki Maka. You
Yeah.
had some, you were,
Yeah. The jam is absolutely ono too. So
yeah, yeah.
I miss making. I miss making. I absolutely miss making jam. But now, hopefully, with the kitchen, we can start back. But there's a jar shortage.
Oh, really?
Oh, absolutely. With this
Huh.
whole COVID stuff. Yeah, because they're using glass for other things, bro.
Oh,
Think about it. Think
yeah.
about it, right?
Yes,
If
right?
they need it for the vials, yeah. No,
Yeah.
there's a shortage. So we've been having a hard time allocating jars. Not
Hmm.
even, yeah. So,
Hmm.
but it's
Okay.
okay.
Wow. All right, so we talked music, we talked jewelry, and now this pops up. So you talk a little bit about food, but we got now Landeza Island Poke and Catering. But
I can I can be your whole show for 2 weeks.
I should say, so, um, and you've started delivery service to the Bay Area as well, right? With your Poke and Lau Lau and what else? My goodness, they can go to lendezasisland.com,
Right.
right?
Or you can download it from the Apple Store or Google Play. So listen, so our friend Michael Willing, they of Aloha Seafood, they were doing a home delivery, and I was freaking out. I'm like, you mean I can get seafood delivered to my house from a seafood distributor? So I was freaking out. So I was buying slabs. Then I realized that when you're buying slabs, it's not cost effective, right? I mean, you got to figure it out. So then I figured, well, if what if I made a couple pounds of poke and sold it so that it would cover my slab of ahi? So then I put it on Facebook and I go, I'll deliver it. And that was it after that, bro. I was
Patrick
like,
Landeza gonna come to my house and deliver some poke, gonna deliver some fresh,
right.
and it is a hit.
No,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah,
so,
that's crazy.
so now we're talking the kiho alu, the music. My goodness, we're talking about the jewelry. We're talking about food, and then all of a sudden, this pops up, and I'm going, okay.
Okay, so it's kind of out of context, but we're good. We're good. So believe it or not, when during Asia Pacific Islander Month, and NBC Asia had said that my book is one of the top 10 Asian American books to have. Right? I mean, I that was pretty huge for me. And so I decided to write a children's book because my children weren't listening to me. So if I were to hide the stories, it's no different. And it was a time when Uncle Dennis had passed, and Uncle Dennis always used to say, "Continue to write. You must write." And he would say, "Write about your time. Write. Continue to write music." And so I did, but at the time I wanted to write books. So I wrote a children's book, and the children's book talks about identity, and of course, Danny's Hawaiian journey. And the take on that is Danny is my middle child, but also the name of my father. And so I put Uncle Dennis and Uncle Cyril in there. I put Kupaoa in there. It's hilarious as pictures, and of course, I made Uncle Dennis the hero of the story
Ah,
because in life he is my hero.
yeah.
So it makes me feel good. And then this book came out, which is my memoirs. It is hilarious. I mean, if you don't have this book, this is the most hilarious thing. And I don't believe, because guys, I hate to write, but it was a forward by the then the great Senator Akaka wrote the forward to that, and that is the greatest honor. But the book, once again, it's my personal stories of being on the road fighting ghosts, before there was ever ghost hunters, and because of how strong Uncle Dennis is, and then with the training of my own mom, these crazy things. I think that when you mix energies, then you attract other energies. And so, Uncle Dennis and I spent more time blessing and trying to solve mysteries. I mean, we're like the Slack Key Scooby Doo. And Cyril's attitude was like, they know about me, I know about them, and that was his exact attitude. And that's what he had said. So Uncle Dennis, and I would be like, it's like, damn it, Uncle. And it's some crazy, crazy stuff. I don't talk about it, but I miss him. I mean, crazy stuff. I mean, crazy. If people, I mean, I wish we had more time. I would tell you a story. It is the most craziest. And the stuff you see on TV, like they always, like Herb Ota Jr. people would ask, yeah, why does he always watch these ghost programs? And then Herbert with his stoic face, he's doing research. Doing research. But
Oh,
yeah, so
goodness.
these things, but it's all in the book. I might make the book available. I mean, it should be available on Amazon,
On
so I'll
Amazon.
make that available. It will be. I haven't even. It should be. Yeah, but I mean, you know, I sell it at my shows. I'll have it this weekend as well too.
Mhm.
But it's a wonderful, wonderful. Just so that I can remember.
Yeah,
I wrote of my time.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And Tehedi says I should have bought some earrings back there. She missed buying it at the Mele Maka show. Well, I think you'll have an opportunity. Saturday night, you're going to be at
yeah,
Brothers Hawaiian Grill in Garden in Gardena from 6 to 9,
absolutely.
and you're going to bring some of your merch down, that some
Yes,
earrings, and who knows what other surprises that you'll bring along. And of course, uh, we'll see what's available for our poi and our kulolo as well. So, in fact, I got a call from Elsie, the manager over there, and she goes, "Kamaka, I'm getting people are reserving tables. I got a table of 12 reserving. I got a table of 6 reserving." I said, Right on. So people are looking forward to some great kind of kapila tomorrow. Some good music.
Right. And that's what, and again, the whole concept of things being polole, right? And how Dennis and when I go into these communities, I try and help, these restaurants, these caterers. Like when we're in DC, he was, Conrad was like, "This is the most we ever did. Period. You saved my business." That and with Chris Ehrenberg, and the wine, it's like we sold so much, you allowed us to pay rent.
Yeah.
And it's this that's within the spirit, because you gotta give back.
Yep.
People that don't give back, it's just they keep asking and asking, but the people that give back and don't grumble is the ones I love. So do it, move on, keep going.
Keep going.
Period. And that's you. It's done this weekend. Successful, good. Pal, right back in the classroom, taking orders from my boss, seeing the students, correcting their papers, and then pow,
Yeah.
off to the next. What's the next adventure? Think about it, right? You can change the world. You can make a difference, but you need a team to change the world. You cannot do it by yourself, but you can make a difference. So I feel like I'm making a difference in these areas, but I'm praying that in time we can get all these folks to help change things, change the world, make it a better place always, you know.
Well, something else that is on your radar right now is your latest release, which is Far Away. And you shared with me last weekend. I'm so happy. It's been nominated for a Na Hoku Hanohano nominee for Best Slacky Album. Tell us about Far Away. What, you have
Of
quite a
course,
few. Yeah.
Far Away is the title track, and that is the song that Uncle Dennis wrote in my backyard in San Leandro. And he was thinking about his wife, and you know it's a beautiful song, but in how I see it as well, too far away, just because I'm far away, you know my feet are planted, I'm home, wherever I am. And so it's that call, it's the mainland call to wherever you are, you're home, because home is, it is in your heart, it is where you plant your feet. um and no more food, no more lao, no more kauyuk, no more kloa pig, and you make it and you create it. And it's inside, that makes you whole. For me, it does. The food does. So and
You-
it's real bluegrassy. Uncle Dennis loved bluegrass. I love bluegrass. Very Sons of Hawaii type of feel to it.
Even though I'm far, far away from home, I'll never ever feel alone. The island breeze is whispering to me. It's not about the distance between land or sea, but really where you plant your feet. 'Cause home lives in memories and me. Home, home, home. I swear nothing can replace the warmth of your embrace. I said home, home, home.
Wow.
Doesn't matter where I plant
Very
my feet.
You might make it to the Grand Ole Opry yet there, Patrick. That happened here, brother.
Yeah, but we'll see. And this CD was produced by Kellen Pike, liner notes by Lee Howell, and so it's nominated for Slacky album. Also, it got the nomination for liner notes as well too. Lee Howell got the nomination, and so
Sweet.
the CD is nominated for two. I've never been nominated for anything more than one. I'm the only mainland born artist, or they call us non-resident. I'm a non-resident, and so I'm the only non-resident to successfully win a Hoku. So I am not born in Hawaii. I'm not based in Hawaii. I am considered a non-resident, and so there is no other person that achieved that. I mean, not to say that there are other awards that you can achieve in one's life, because we're blessed that we have now Hawaiian music in the Grammys. But the difficult thing is that I'm always the salmon swimming upstream. A Grammy is a mainland based award, so I've always been that salmon swimming upstream. I am just like so blessed because Hara and all of the board members, and they support me. I'm just very humbled that they're able to recognize me and the music, and Chris Lau and Milton Lau and that whole group too, receiving the Kihoalu Foundation Award as well a couple of years ago. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It was just a roadie.
Here's Thyra, and she's asking, saying, "Aloha, Kamaka and Patrick. Have you ever played with Uncle Ben Chong, Benny Chong?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Benny Chong is amazing. So with I did a show, I think, with him. It was a serial show in Seattle. So Uncle Benny was on there. My cousin Ian O'Sullivan is one of his students. So one of his apprentices that he learned from. So, oh yeah, he's just truly amazing, and his story is unique too. But also his style as well too. So, it's pretty interesting.
Wow. This has been fun there, Patrick. My goodness. Whenever you and I are together, we're crossing paths and whatever. We sit down and we have a chance to just have a great conversation. And our friends that have been watching have been definitely enjoying. And they're saying we'll see you tomorrow. Folks, you can pick up the Far Away, Amazon, Melly.com, right? If you'd like to pick up a copy of it, it's great music. I've got a wonderful copy right here. I've been listening to it. It's beautiful. And there's a song here that was your mom's favorite, if I'm not mistaken. "Remember My Island." Tell us about that song.
No, she would always sing. She would always sing that song, and that was Myra English. And so always, I remember the LP just going and going and going. And so I wanted to do the songs all match the either memories of my mom or songs that relate to the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
So Kaliponi, we have Kaipole Manu, so we have all of these songs, Home that I wrote. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Patrick, mahalo for spending the hour with us on Aloha Friday. What fun. And yeah, maybe we should spend some time and you can tell us all the stories of the paranormal, the Hawaiian stories, which should be many.
Yeah, and then also maybe we can do it over a glass of wine.
Patrick Landeza's wine. Watch out.
We can do it over a glass of wine and absolutely. So thank you, Kamaka. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you so much.
My pleasure, brother. Love you, man. And we're gonna go out with the song "Remembering Home," and we want to tell all our friends mahalo. Next week, Friday, from the legendary group, the Ali'is, Mr. Joe Mundo is going to be with us. Thank you, Thyra Abraham, for giving us the hookup for Joe Mundo from the Ali'is. That's going to be a fun conversation as well. Patrick, I will see you tomorrow morning, my brother. LAX. Pick up the poi.
LAX.
And I tell you, history in the making, my brother.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much, and mahalo to everybody.
Thank you, brother. Hang on.
Through some special magic, it came back to me. Remember my island, the trades blowing free. Remember Aloha.